session. Welcome to this live. In this live, we're going to be talking about something that I hope you are prepared for, because we might be literally digging right into your personal journal. Today, we're going to be talking about why you are getting poorer by the minute. And if that's something of interest to you, if you're someone who's actually had that kind of question ruminating in your mind, this is the live where you're going to have some answers that you will be able to find. First and foremost, before we jump into this one, what I'd love for you to do is let me know inside of the chat where you are joining me from. Let me know where in the world you are joining me from. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Are you in Mother Africa? Are you in the Caribbean, or are you in one of the sides of the Korean? Let me know inside of the chat by literally throwing your answer inside right now. Let me know where you're joining us from. Let me know where you're joining us from. Welcome, Epop. Welcome everyone who's inside of the house. I'm seeing the names, but some of the names are a bit far away. Welcome, Paul. Welcome everyone who's jumping in right now. And guys, as you jump in, feel free to say hello. Feel free to say hello. Feel free to say welcome. Feel free to say hi. Let's get some more lights on up in here so we can jump into a whole new gear. Let's see where we're gonna be. Let's go. All right. So we've got the lights on. Guys, take this opportunity. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. Now, I'm going to start by asking a couple of questions, a couple of simple questions. And the first question I want to ask is, have you ever said to yourself, why does it feel like you're making more, but you still feel poor? If that's a question you've ever had for yourself, just write in the comments the words "I have," so I know that I'm not alone. I remember literally in 2015 working in a specific school as a secondary and A-level math teacher and feeling like, although I just got a promotion, why does my finances feel like they're going through a demotion? If there's anyone who's felt that kind of motion, let me know inside of the chat. But that's something that I had experienced in the past, and I kept wondering why this kept happening to me until I discovered exactly why it kept happening to me. And that's the reason why I decided to share this with you guys on the live. So if you're ready for this live, just throw in the chat the word live as I start by sharing with you guys a great big welcome to the session. Because inside of this session, what we're going to do is we're going to start by unpacking the thought process and framework which is actually causing most people to become poor minute by minute. Then straight after that, we're going to go into the actual decision making, the mindset, if you want to use that words or those words, the mindset necessary in order for you to switch into gear, and the thing that keeps you in a state of fear, stopping you from literally moving further, faster in your future. And for those of you who are attempting, if you're attempting this, right, this is for those of you who's attempting to hide in the back, there's going to be a few things we're going to be sharing with you in this session that are going to assist you so that you never ever have to go back. So if that sounds good to you, someone write in the chat the word good as we jump into today's session. Now, just to get us started with, I want to share with you, I guess I'll start with this. I'll start with the mindset that's trapping many people in terms of their finances. And as you guys jump in, Cynthia and everyone else, just feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat. If you're someone who's meeting me for the first time, a great big welcome to you. My name is Samuel Kim. I help people create consistent and colossal cash flow using resources and revenues that are hidden in plain sight. That's right. That means that literally I'm going to show you how to uncover and recover the wealth that's yours, that's literally inside of your existing drawers. Now, most people find that challenging because they think to themselves, how can that be? How can that be the case, Samuel? I'm going to show you in today's session exactly how that can be the case. Now, I wasn't planning to do this, but I'm going to do this first. I didn't plan to do this first, but I'll do this first. So I'm currently reading a book. Just started reading a book, and the book's an interesting book, but I read something in the book that made me think about exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in today's session. It made me think about an aspect and an element of what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in today's session. So I thought what I might do is actually read a little paragraph to you, right, of this book. So let's see if I can get the book up. Boom, the book is up. That's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to be on the page before this one. And I'm just going to read a short paragraph to give you guys an understanding of what I read, right? Now, this book, just to give you some context, because I don't need to be like, yo, Samuel, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? This book is called The 4 Keys to Hearing God's Voice, right? That's what the actual book is called. And this particular chapter, or this particular passage, I'm going to read a small paragraph, but this particular reading is being taken from chapter 1, or the introduction, quite early in the book, very early in the book. I'm literally on page 21, as you can see on the screen. So let's jump into this, and I want you to see this because this is going to help you, right? So I'm reading this little subsection. It's called I Tried Many Approaches That Didn't Work. Okay, I hope you're ready for this. All right, it said, I read and memorized scripture. I went to Bible college. I became an ordained pastor. I prayed and I fasted. Okay, so we're on 5 already, right? Now let's go deeper. I obeyed the Lord's commands to the best of my ability. There's 6. Now listen to this. This one line, okay, is the particular part that I read today. And I thought to myself, I had to share because this will be of value to you, okay? Listen to what the author writes here, okay? This is Dr. Mark Verkler and his wife, Patty Verkler, who wrote this book. And listen to this line. It said, and I closely question people who profess to hear from God, since I still didn't know what his voice sounded like. Okay, now you might be thinking, Samuel, you're talking about some God stuff right now. Samuel, you're talking about a whole bunch of stuff from this book about how to hear God's voice and stuff like this. Samuel, I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't think that was going to be relevant. I didn't think that was going to be respective. I didn't think that was going to be connected to why someone might be getting poorer. Now, I told you already, I'm at the start of this book. I'm reading the start of this book. But the reason I wanted you to join me and take a look is because I wanted you to understand something. This book reveals that every person who's going to be real, transparent with you will share and basically help you understand. Okay, my man Shadaboa says the video is sizzling and the audio is on and off. Okay, thank you ever so much, Shad, for letting me know over on the purple and orange platform. Hopefully it will pick up in a moment. And if it doesn't, guys, for those of you who don't know, I always forget to say this, so thank you guys for reminding me. We are on the black platform, we are on the red platform, we are on the blue platform, and we're also on the purple and orange platform. So if on the purple and orange platform there's some disconnection, feel free to get some perfection on one of the other platforms. We're here for you. We'd love to connect with you any way that we can and any way that we can do. So this book is called The 4 Keys to Hearing God's Voice. I'm early in the book. I'm literally on probably page 24, something like that. But I read page 21 earlier today, and I thought to myself to share it with you because what I read here literally, I guess I can say close to blew my mind, all right? This isn't what I wanted to show you. This is what I'm going to show you guys later. I tried many approaches that didn't work. This is what I wanted to show you, okay? Because I want you to understand that this statement right here that I've highlighted for you is the very statement why most people go through what they're going through. And as I shared with you today, we're talking about why you are becoming poorer minute by minute. But this is the line why. This is the reason why. Even though this is taken from a book that has nothing to do with wealth creation, this literal line is the purpose, the reason behind most people's procrastination. Dr. Verkler said, I tried many approaches that didn't work. Let's start breaking them down. First one, he said, I read and memorized scripture. There's 2 right there. I went to Bible college. I went to school right there. I became an ordained pastor. I got a qualification, not the transformation. We spoke about that in the last live. I prayed and I fasted. So we got 6 right there. I obeyed the Lord's commands to the best of my ability. We got 7 right there. Listen to this. And I closely questioned people who professed to hear from God, since I still didn't know what his voice sounded like. Now, I don't know if you've already got the light bulb yet, or if you're waiting for me to help you get it, but I want you to see right here what Dr. Verkler in his book articulated, which most of us have never even recognized in our life. When you have made an attempt, when you have tried and tried again, when you think you've done everything you can do from beginning to the end of using your pen, guess what happens next? You question those who have got results because you have not yet got results. Can I get any honest people in the house today who can say, Samuel, I understand that is the way? Is there anyone in the house who can say, Samuel, I see you, champ. That's the truth. I've been that guy before. I've been that person before who, when I've attempted to do something and another thing and another thing, and it felt like it weren't working, I started doing exactly what he speaks about in the book here. I started questioning other people who had the result just because I hadn't got the result. Now, what most of us don't realize is that line right there. Okay, let me even share it with you from my literal tablet where I'm literally reading it from, right? So you can see here, this is my tablet. I'm reading this as an electronic book, and you can see I'm literally taking notes of this myself, right? And you can see I underlined it here in red. Okay, in red, I literally underlined it. I tried many approaches that did not work. Okay, and I've clearly shared here the exact same line, and I closely question people who profess to hear from God, since I still didn't know what his voice sounded like. That's the problem right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to unpack this problem a lot more to help you for sure as you shift out of a place of saying to yourself, you know what, how comes it's not working for me? How comes I feel like I'm getting surer, but my account looks like I'm getting poorer? If that's you and you're ready to deep dive today, and you're saying, you know what, Samuel, I'm all in. I want to learn so I can earn. I'm going to be sharing this with you today. Let's go. Jemmies says, yes, I question. Let's go. Jemmies 65. Jemmies, let me know your name so I can address you appropriately and welcome you to the live, right? So Jemmies says, yes, I question. So guys, this is real. There's real people who've gone through this. And this is the reason why, guys, I went through this in 2015. That was my story. That was my story. I saw other people getting ahead and I asked, did they have two heads? That was my story in 2015. Because I realized that it just seemed like other people were getting results I couldn't get. Fadaz01, thank you for liking the live. Let's go. All right. Gemma, welcome to the live. If this is your first time, just put in the chat FT for first time. If you're back again, feel free to put in the chat BA so I know you're back again. Let's go. We got Georgia in the house. Let me know if that's Georgia, like Atlanta, Georgia, US of A. Ole Ella. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Or let me know if that's Georgia, like Georgia near Turkey, Georgia, as we go further in the way, right? So guys, I want you to understand this. Most people are getting poorer and poorer minute by minute and don't understand what's actually in it. In this live, we're gonna break down exactly what's in it. I just read to you from a book that I just started reading recently, 4 Keys to Hearing the Voice of God. Literally how the author in the introduction says he tried this, he tried this, he tried this. He wrote 7 things he tried, but the result was still denied. And then the next thing that he said is that he started questioning whether this was real. He started questioning whether the results other people are having are actually real. Let me ask a question, guys. They said Elon Musk has just become the first trillionaire. Let me ask a question. Is that real? Someone put in the chat, yes, if it's real. Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll. Let's find out. You guys let me know. Yes in the chat if it's real, or no in the chat if it's not real. Okay? Ole Ella. Hopefully I'm saying this right. Ole Ella, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Let me know how I should pronounce it in the chat as well, please. All right? Maybe this is my old school teacher vibe. I really don't like getting people's names wrong. So Ole Ella, welcome to the live and let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. All right? And guys, you let me know in the chat. Is Elon Musk apparently just become a trillionaire? Is this real or is this not real? Just a yes in the chat if it's real, or a no in the chat if it's not real. Someone let me know. Someone let me know. Paul, thank you for deciding to follow the host. Let's go. All right? Now, I want you guys to understand this. They've recently just shared with us that Elon Musk, a human being like you and me, has just become a trillionaire. How? Because he just literally floated one of his newest businesses on the stock market, and literally it received a stock valuation above most stock valuations in their launch. If someone understands that, just write in the comments, I do. Gemma, thank you for deciding to follow the host. You see, I want you to understand how this works, okay? Because for most of us, we look at things and say they don't work just because we don't understand how they work. Instead of doing what we're going to talk about in this live, which is how we'll get things to actually work. Let's go. Paul says, I do. All right. So let's go deeper. They say Elon Musk has just become a trillionaire, right? I'm gonna show you how. If anyone would like to know how, just write in the chat me, because there's one thing you may not be thinking about right now, which I'm gonna tell you, which will hopefully really make you rich for the rest of your future. And that is that Elon Musk has a certain amount of hours in a day. Someone throw in the chat how many hours Elon Musk has in a day, okay? Someone let me know in the chat, right? How many hours does Elon Musk have in a day? Someone let me know inside of the chat. And we're gonna use that to help us understand a few other things, all right? So as you guys are doing that, I'm gonna get something for you guys, which I was remembering as I was preparing this live, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna help people see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So let's do that. And you guys, you got a minute or two, throw in the chat how many hours Elon Musk has in a day, right? As you do that, I'm gonna play a short video for you. I want you to watch this video and just tell me your thoughts as the video plays. Let's go. Short video, right? Jeff Bezos versus employee real-time salary. Watch this.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that. I've been in the business 36 years and
Really appreciate that.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
All right, guys. Adam,
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it.
let me stop it right here. You've got Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, walking around a plant, right? Assumedly one of his plants, congratulating one of his employees on 30-something years of work, right? And if you can see what's happening here, the time is moving and his money is moving. And the employee's money is also moving. And the reason I'm laughing is because inside of this video is the secret. Inside of this video is the exact secret. Someone write in the chat the word secret. Let me tell you the secret. The secret is most people measure their wealth in terms of money. Wealthy people are out there measuring their wealth in terms of time. Now, I'm going to give you a minute in case you need to pick up your pen. I'll say that again. Most people are measuring their wealth in times and in terms of money, and wealthy people are measuring their wealth in terms of time. How much money do you make a second? Okay, now watch this. Most people will say IDK. Okay, that's the new generation. They say IDK to stand for I don't know. Okay, how much money do you make a minute? Most people, again, will go and give you the same answer. They don't know. How much money do you make an hour? Now we're getting close to what people might be able to say they know. But guess what? Most people, again, will say they don't know. Now, if I ask most people how much money they make a month, here's a question, guys. Will they know? Throw it in the chat. Yes or no, will they know? If you ask most people, if you and I went on the street and we approached 3 or 4 individuals, out of those 4 individuals we approached and asked them, how much money do you make a month? Will they know? Throw in the chat a yes if you believe they'll know, or a no if you think they will not know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right? Because I want you guys to understand how this works. I want you to understand what's working. I want you to understand, and also the other side of what's working, what's not working, how this is happening for people, how people are ending up in predicaments and situations where they can't understand why they're being, basically in simple terms, hoodwinked into a lack of results instead of successful results. Gemma says, yes, they will know. Okay, so here's a question. It's an important question, and I really want you to pay attention. The question is, why is it that people will know how much money they make a month, but they will not know how much money they make a minute? I'm going to tell you why. Because they generate income based on someone else's idea of income. They generate income based on someone else's idea of income, not on their own. They haven't taken the time to discover and uncover how wealth actually works. Now, here's a question. Do you think someone who hasn't taken time to turn wealth into a study is going to be in a better position than someone who has taken a bit of time to turn wealth creation into a study? Who do you think, let's draw this out. Who do you think is in a better position? That's my question, right? Let's even give it to you, right? Two individuals, right? You've got person A. Let's see, we got disconnected. Let's go. Let's get reconnected. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. So you've got person A. Person A has said, I'm just going to figure things out based on what they told me in school. Okay. That's person A. Person A says, school did enough to help me understand how this all works. I'm just going to figure it out based on how they told me in school. That's person A. But then we got person B. Person B says, not me. I'm going to turn wealth into a study. This is person B. Someone told me in the chat, who is in a better position to discover wealth? Okay? Who's in a better position to uncover wealth? Here's even a better question. Who's in a better position to recover their wealth? Person A, I'm just going to do what they taught me in school. Or person B, I'm going to turn wealth into a study. You let me know. Someone let me know. Let me know in the chat. A or B. Okay? Because here's the reality. Okay? Gemma says B. She gave me that real quick. Gemma says B. Person B. Person B. Now, here's a question I've got to ask you. Have you decided to be the kind of person like person B? That's my question to you today. Okay? And here, look, I'm going to be super nice. You don't have to answer in the chat. I'm going to be super nice. You don't have to be that transparent in the chat. You don't have to answer in the chat. But it's a question for you to think about. Have you decided to be, have you ever in your whole life, in your last 60 years, in your last 50 years, in your last 40 years, in your last 30 years, in your last 20 years, in your last 10 years, have you ever made a conscious decision and decided to be a person like person B? Have you ever made that decision? Because here's some insight for you. If you've never decided to allow wealth to be a study, you are ultimately going to be doing things that you've studied. And the question is, where have you studied? Well, if you studied in school, as I often say to people, you can't use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes. Financial freedom is a non-school outcome. Having enough resources and revenues to take care of you and your loved ones and the people you really care about and the people that really care about you, the people who have done something for you that you want to do something back for them, to be able to be in that position, school doesn't talk about that. So school's not going to give you the resources, the revenue, the mindset, the insight, the foresight, the oversight to do that. It's going to be impossible. You cannot use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes. So we can see from the short passage I read to you guys from the book that I just started reading recently, that there's an issue. What's the issue, Samuel? The first issue is the fact that when things aren't working for people, people start thinking they're not working for anyone. Okay? We start thinking they're not working for anyone. Well, if it's not working for me, it can't be working for them. So what do we, here's the funny thing. If it's not working for you and you think it can't be working for them, guess what you're going to start calling them? Oh, they're scammers. Let's go. I love that. Right? Paul, give me some more on this. Paul says 18 months ago and the last 6 months hard, right? Paul, give me some more on this. Let me know what you're sharing. Break it down, right? Because guys, I want you to understand, this is real life. This is what real people are going through. People are trying to do stuff. It doesn't work. And then they look around and say, no, it must not be working for anyone else. Oh, they're scamming me. Oh, that guy's a scammer. Oh, this person's fake. Oh, guys, here's the reality. If you believe that to be the case, then unfortunately, you will never change your place. And I'm not saying this to say there aren't scammers out there. I'm not saying this to say there aren't people who are tricksters out there. There are tricksters out there. There must be, right? I'm saying this for us to understand how life works. If you want things to work for you, there's gonna be something different for you to do, okay? If someone understands what I'm talking about, just write in the comments, I do, so I know you guys are with me, all right? Look at that. Let's go. Paul says, 18 months ago, he was just sat home, doing nothing, going nowhere, fast. So he started doing AI and started what he thought was in school isn't true anymore. So it's had to begin from the beginning and then, okay? Finish that last part for me, Paul, because I think that might be helpful for other people as well, all right? I want you guys to understand this. Paul's testifying in the chat, saying I've experienced exactly what you're talking about, Samuel. I've tried to use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes, and I've realized it doesn't work. So guess what I had to do? I had to switch into something new. I had to start looking at something else to recover the wealth. Guys, listen, don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until your knees aren't working the way they used to work to start to figure out how things work. Why? Because someone's working it. Someone's working it. I remember thinking that myself, oh, this is so hard, this can't be real. And then I thought to myself, someone's doing it. It doesn't matter how much I have to pay them to figure out how to do it. I can do it if someone else is doing it. Do I have any believers in the house? People who are like, you know what? If someone can do it, I know I can do it. If that's you, just write in the chat the word me. Let me know. Just let me know. Let me know if there's anyone in the house, even if you're watching on a replay, #replay me. Is there anyone in the house who actually believes, listen, if someone else can do it and I figure out how to do it, I learn how to do it, I can do it. Because the reason why people are getting poorer by the minute is because they've never taken some time to figure out how to get in it. And in it, as in what, Samuel? In it as in the true wealth that they desire for their health. Now, let's start breaking it down. Why does this happen? Okay? I've shared with you guys a few things, all right? I've shared with you guys a few things. I've helped you guys understand what we're talking about now. The reason people are getting poorer and poorer by the minute is because they've come to a place where they're unclear about how to get in it. We just saw that short video where you could clearly see in that video how a simple human being, just like you and me, in that case it was Jeff Bezos, was able to walk around, and literally in his walking around, as the seconds were taken off, thousands of dollars were being broken off into his account. And we equally saw a contrastive truth. We saw one of his employees who was stuck at 0.018 cents in the same process. Let's go. I want you guys to see how this works. This is people's lives. There's people you are meeting day by day who in their situation are in a place of financial hesitation. Don't be one of them. I didn't plan to share this, but I'm going to share this with you guys, all right? I want you guys to see this, okay? Matthew 26. Let's do this. I'm gonna read something to you, right? This is something I read in the Bible one time. It made my head semi-spin, okay? Because I was like, Matthew 26, I'm gonna read a few verses, but the verse 11 is the key verse I wanted to share with you, right? I'm gonna read from verse 9, right? Matthew 26, I'm reading from verse 9. Let's go. Paul says, this was 6 months. He's wrote 6 papers. He has a new pattern and 2 new design purchases. Let's go, right? Guys, can you celebrate? Can you celebrate Paul in the chat, okay? Gemma says, good for you, Paul. Keep it moving. Let's go, okay? Let's go. Paul says, when is the best time to start? That's the question. It's only got one answer. We all know it. And that answer, let's do this. That answer, for those of yous in the back who may not know what the answer is, okay? That answer is right about, let's go. You see, chaos is always attempting to follow creation. Imagine that, okay? We're getting connected and getting disconnected from the tablet. For what reason? Just because this stuff is so good. The answer to what Paul's asking is right about now. That is when. That is when. When to take action? Now. When to take action? Now. Why to take action now? Because you only have now. The past is gone. The future has not yet come along. And when the future does come along, guess what? It's a new song. It's not the future anymore long. It's now the present again, which is why we call it a present. Let's go. So the time to take action is right now. All right, let's go deeper into this. I want to give you guys something that you're going to be able to take away in your backpack and use to create value. All right, we're going to go to Matthew 26. I'm going to read a few verses. I'm going to read from verse 9. Hopefully this will be extremely sublime. Watch this. Matthew 26, verse 9. For this ointment, this is a woman came up to Jesus. She's taken basically like her life savings, a whole year's salary, and she's turned it into an offering and literally dispensed it upon him. She said, you know what? This guy is someone different. This guy is doing something different. I need to invest in this guy because he's so blessed. Okay, that's what that was her mindset. And she did that. She invested, right? She literally laced him with ointment, right? And what happened is his disciples, the guys following him, they were like, yo, what's she doing? She's wasting all this money. Listen to this. For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. Okay, this is what we're talking about today. Why are people getting poorer by the minute? So one of the disciples, if you want to know which disciple, just write in the chat, which, I'll tell you which one it was as well. But this disciple says in verse 9, Matthew 26, verse 9, for this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. Listen to this, verse 10. When Jesus understood, he said unto them, why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. She's done something good, man. What she did is the right thing. Watch this, verse 11. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. You see, I read this verse one time, and it literally, I say, blew my mind. Because as I read it, I started to realize, hold on a minute, Jesus prophesied something. Jesus was telling us something most people are not aware of. He's telling us you're always gonna have poor people. So when someone tells you, oh, I'm on a mission to eradicate poverty, you guys, listen, let me tell you something. Unless that person knows something Jesus doesn't know, what they're attempting to do is impossible. Now, am I saying that we can't come out of poverty? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that there's no point in assisting people who are poor? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there will always be someone poor for sure. Why? Jesus said it. He said, the poor you will have with you always. If someone understands what I'm talking about, just write in the chat, I do. Now, this is a hard pill to swallow for some people, but let me tell you why this is an easy pill for me to swallow. Because this helps me realize I get to choose if I want to stay in that camp or if I want to get into another camp. Why? Because there's always going to be someone else who's poor. Let me tell you something. I don't have to be the guy who stays poor just so I know there's a poor person for sure. I can change that situation. You don't believe me? Go and read in the book of Proverbs. Guess what it says? It says the rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. What does that mean? That means the same God that made you is the same God that made someone in a different financial position to you. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. So you get a decision to make. Are you going to stay there in the camp of people that we're going to have all the time? Or are you going to say, well, look, God prophesied. Jesus already said there's always going to be poor, so I don't have to be poor for sure. I can move out of that camp. Let me explain to you the exact reason. There's 3 reasons. I call these the 3 fragrances of failure. If someone's ready for this, someone write in the chat the word failure. Oh, let's go. I'm going to share with you the 3 fragrances of failure which are keeping people becoming poorer minute by minute. And here's the thing, I'm going to say this. Once I share this with you, you're not going to be able to unsee this. So I'm going to be very transparent. If you're not ready to shed failure, the smell, the fragrance of failure from your life, you should now disconnect from this life. I'm just keeping it real. But if you're ready to disconnect failure from your life, you're saying to yourself, you don't want to be a failure junkie. If you're saying to yourself, you know what, Samuel, now's the time. I know this live is for me. I am ready. Even if you're watching on a replay, hashtag replay. If you are ready, throw the word ready in the chat. Because I'm going to share with you, the first thing I'm going to uncover are what I call the 3 fragrances of failure. And then I'm going to share with you how to get rid of that smell. Get rid of the oud de toilette, the oud de parfum. How to get rid of that fragrance, okay? If you guys are ready, throw in the chat the word ready. If you're ready, throw in the chat the word ready. Let's start to get cooking. The first fragrance of failure, which is causing people to become poorer minute by minute, is the fragrance known, let's go. This can't be disconnection day. Let's go. Guys, those of you who are praying people, you need to be praying because the technology is trying not to work today. I think there's someone trying to stop you from getting what's yours for today. Let's go. Let's get this from the live. So this first fragrance is the fragrance called Should. The Should fragrance. Samuel, what's the Should fragrance? Let me explain it to you. I'm so glad you asked. You should learn how to earn, but you don't. You should learn how to triple your income, but you don't. You should learn how to invest so you can be more blessed, according to Matthew 25, but you don't. Should is the first fragrance of failure. Someone in the chat let me know if they've had a point in their past where they were in should land. If you have, just put me in the chat. You ever been in a predicament where you know you knew what to do and you said, I should do that, but for some reason you still didn't do? Let me know. Let me know if you've got any transparent people in the house today. Because I want you guys to understand, this is one of the primary things keeping people poor. This is one of the primary things causing people's revenue to reduce for sure. This is one of the primary things causing people to become poorer minute by minute. The things they know they should do, but yet they don't do. Let's go. You see, should is the first of the 3 fragrances of failure. And let me tell you something. Now that I've told you that, you don't have to wear that fragrance anymore. Now that I've told you that, you can change that fragrance for sure. Now that I've told you that, you can say, that fragrance will not frequent around me anymore. There are so many times in our life when we know we should do something, but for some reason we still yet do not do that thing. Why? Because should is the assassinator of many people's dreams. Should. The first of the 3 fragrances of failure. Anybody want to change their fragrance? Just write in the comments, I do. Anyone ready to change their fragrance? Just write in the comments, I do. So that's the first one. Should. Let's go into the second fragrance that is keeping people poor. The second fragrance is the fragrance known as could. How many things in the past could you have done, but you didn't? I don't know if you're like me. You see, a lot of entrepreneurs have this thing called entrepreneurial ADHD, where you have one idea, one bright spark idea, and you're like, I'm gonna go do this thing. I should do this thing, and I could do this thing, and then you don't do this thing. I should do this thing, and I could do this thing, but then you just don't do the thing. Because you, unfortunately, have been plagued with the fragrance of failure, which is known as could. You see, it's one thing in life when you see something you should do and you don't do. But it's another thing in life when you see something that you actually could do and you don't do. Gemma says, amen to that. I want you to just think about your life right now. Think about the opportunities you've had Think about the times where someone came into your life and said, look, I can show you how to do A, B, C, D. Or think about the time where you saw someone doing A, B, C, D, and you heard the voice in your head, or you saw the line you once read, and what the voice in your head and the line you once read said was, I could do that too. But for some reason, you didn't follow through. Should is the first fragrance of failure, but could is the second fragrance of failure. If anyone's ready for the third fragrance of failure, put free in the chat. You see, I want you to understand there are things you should have done and you did not do. There are things you could have done and you did not do. And these are the things that come back later on to plague you. These are the things that came back later on to plague me. Opportunities to change job, opportunities to start my own business, opportunities to buy properties, opportunities to invest in predicaments and positions. And just, you see, here's the thing I really love, right? I'm gonna share this with you guys. The thing I really love is that most of us can tell the future, but we just don't know that we can. Samuel, what do you mean I can tell the future, but I just don't know that I can? What do you mean that I can tell the future, but I just don't know that I can? Okay, I'll tell you. I studied for my undergraduate degree, computing and statistics. It was a joint major. I then went on to the University College London, one of the best universities in the world, ranked 7 when I went there, and studied my master's in statistics. Now, when you study statistics, one of the things you develop or you learn, right? How do they tell you what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow? Someone told me in the chat, how do they tell you what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow, okay? Which branch of science is it that, I'm gonna use this word and maybe give it away, that calculates what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow? Does anybody know? Let me know, okay? And if you don't know, I'll tell you, okay? The way that they calculate what the weather is gonna be like tomorrow and the day after is through means of the branch of mathematics called statistics. Why? Because they're making predictions. These are predictions. Now, a great question would be, hold on a minute, if they can tell me what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow, that means they can tell the future. Well, they can't exactly tell the future, but they can make predictions. Now, what are these predictions based on? All predictions of the future are based on principles of the past. Oh, someone's gonna catch this today. Someone literally just made some money hearing that sentence. All predictions of the future are based on principles practiced in the past. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, go read Matthew chapter 25. Go read the story in Matthew chapter 25 where Jesus talks about the fact that a master goes out of town and leaves some resources with 3 of the guys he leaves in the town. And it says that one of the guys went and did what his master would do. He doubled up. He took 5 and turned 5 into 5 more. The other guy did what he knew his master would do. He took 2 and turned the 2 into 2 more. And then there's the last guy who it summarizes and concludes is a wicked and slothful servant who had 1 and put the 1 under the chair under his bum. He hid it. He hid his 1. And then when the master comes back, here's the thing that's so powerful. Whenever I share this, people are always like, Samuel, I never realized that. Go read Matthew 25 for yourself and go see the one thing your pastor's never preached to you. All 3 of these guys started off as servants. Someone write in the chat the word servant. But only 1 out of the 3 ended as a servant. Oh, someone's catching this right now. Guys, I want you to understand how powerful this is. Samuel, are you telling me that a person can go from a servant to being something else? Yes, you are 100% right. Let's go. Go read it for yourself, Matthew 25. Read the story. Listen to what he says to the first 2. He says, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little, now become a ruler over much. They got converted from servants to rulers because they practiced a principle they had seen in the past, which actually altered their future. All predictions are made based on principles that have already been played. So this is what I mean when I say to my clients, this is what I mean when I say to my friends, this is what I mean when I say to you, that we can actually tell the future. How do you tell the future, Samuel? You tell the future by discovering, learning principles. What do you mean, Samuel? This is what I mean. Most of us will never jump off of a building because we know we'd go splat. So we can tell the future because we understand the principle. If someone's getting what I'm talking about, throw in the chat, I do. This is what's happening. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. We do a great job of this, most of us, with gravity. But most people do a terrible job of this with their finances. Most people do a terrible job of this with cash flow. Most people, some people, 50% of people, according to the divorce rates, do a terrible job of this with their relationships. Think about this. Predictions are made based on principles that have been played. So if you get good at discovering principles, you'll get better at producing predictions. And if you get better at producing predictions, oh Lord, you'll be the person with the strongest convictions. When people talk to you about why you should do what you should do, you will have the strong... Look, guys, look at what Paul's saying in the chat. Paul's like, listen, I've been there, Samuel. I know what you're talking about. I spent 18 months sitting on the couch. How can he talk with such conviction? I can tell you how he could talk with such conviction. Because he's been able to change his prediction. Oh, someone called that. And this is what happens for us when we start to take time out and say, you know what, I'm plugging in. We start to take time out and we say, you know what, I'm discovering. We start to take time out and we say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. I'm going to discover the principles so I can start to make more accurate predictions. Jump off the building, man go splat. Don't want to go splat? Then don't do that. If someone's getting me just right, I do in the chat as you go further. First fragrance, should. Second fragrance, could. Third fragrance, hope you're ready for this. Would. Maybe this is the worst one. You should invest. And you could invest. And then you tell all your friends you would invest. But you don't. You should take that class. And you could take that class. You tell all your friends you would take that class. But you don't. You see, how many times in life have we been in a position or a predicament and a place where we wanted to do something and for some reason we didn't? And then fast forward, years later, we end up doing that thing and looking back and saying, I should have done it then. I should have done that then. I should have done that at the first opportunity I got. Now, here's a good question to think about. Why didn't you? Because at that time, when you didn't, you had an excuse. At that time, when you didn't, you had a view. You had a reason why you said you weren't able to do it. You had a reason why you said you should and you could and you would, but you didn't, but you don't. You had a reason. So here's my question. If you had a reason then, what changed that later on, my friend? Because whatever changed that later on is the key you need in order to succeed. And my hope, my prayer is that in the next layer, I'm going to show you how you can become a should, could, and would slayer. Anyone ready for that? Just throw the word ready in the chat. Now, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens the way this happens. And guys, let me reveal these two things, right? It's bad if you should, but you don't. It's bad. If something's good for you and you should do it, but you don't, that's a bad thing. It's bad if you could, but you don't. Okay? If you could invest so you can be more blessed, but you don't, that's bad. Like, guys, you let me know in the chat. Am I telling the truth? Is it bad if you could do something that's going to better your future and you don't? Is it bad if you should do something that's going to better your future, but you don't? Okay, let me know in the chat. And it's also bad if you say you would do something that's going to better your future, but you don't, right? But here's where it gets worse. Don't is one level, okay? Don't is just one level of the trauma, one level of the drama. Let me take you to the other level. Because there are some of us who should, who could, who would, but don't. But this is where it gets scary. When you're someone who should, who could, who would, but you won't. You won't. You won't do what it takes. You won't do what you should. You won't do what you could. You won't do what you said you would. That's when it gets worse. So I'm just sharing this with you before we go further because I want to encourage you that if you've seen places in your life in the past where you should take that step or you could take that step and you even said you would take that step, but you didn't, I want to encourage you to make sure that even though you didn't, you're not the person who wouldn't. Because if you're the person who wouldn't, it doesn't matter what we say in this live today. Nothing's going to change for you. But if you're the kind of person who's recognized, you know what, Samuel, I should have and I didn't, but I'm not the kind of person who wouldn't, then at least you're in a better space. So let's jump into how you eradicate these 3 fragrances of failure, which are causing you to become poor minute by minute, okay? If someone's ready for that, just write I am in the chat. If someone's ready for that, just write I am in the chat. Let's go. So it's really simple. All you need to do is follow something I call the path to progress, okay? PTP. You can write in the chat PTP, right? Just so you don't forget. PTP, the path to progress. Now, a question you might be asking is, Samuel, what is the path to progress? I've never heard of that before, okay? And that's okay if you've never heard of it before, because as some people say, every day is a school day. As other people say, you learn something new every day. So let's jump into the path to progress to assist you to move further faster in your future. Samuel, what is the path to progress? The path to progress I first discovered in the Bible, okay? The place I actually discovered it, I'm gonna share the verse with you. It's in Proverbs 18, verse 1. I'm going to paraphrase the verse for you. It says, through desire, a man, having separated himself, seeketh and intermeddleth with all manner of wisdom. Now, for some of you, you're going to be like, Samuel, what is that? Wait, what? Okay, so I'm going to break this down to you just so it makes lots of sense, okay? The path to progress. What is the path to progress? This is the path to progress. It's the only path you need in order to succeed, okay? Someone write in the chat the word only, because here's the thing I don't like. I don't like when people give you a million things in order for you to succeed. I need one thing to succeed. Why? Because I do like to read, but I like to focus on one thing to succeed, okay? So I'm gonna give you the one thing to succeed. It's the only thing you need to succeed. It's the path to progress. Samuel, what does that mean? Let me tell you what that means. That means in your relationships, the path to progress is going to work if you desire to succeed in relationships. In your finances, the path to progress is going to work if you desire to succeed in your finances, okay? In your health, in your wealth, it doesn't matter what cadre of life we implement this in. If you desire to succeed, the path to progress is all you need. If someone's happy about that, just write in the chat the word only. So you know this is the only thing you need. Okay, like I said, I've got to give honor where honor's due. I didn't make this up. I found this in Proverbs 18, verse 1. I'm just going to tell you where I found the principle that allowed me to start making better predictions. Oh, someone's catching this right now. Okay, so let's jump into this principle. Very simple, right? 4 stages in the path to progress. Okay, if you are in any situation in your life that you desire to progress out of, you desire to progress past, you desire to make it change, you do not want that festering or to last, right? Here's the first thing you got to do. The first thing, there we go. I thought we was connected. We weren't even connected. We didn't even turn it on. Let's go. Okay. The first thing you have to do is something simple for me and you. Most of us will know what I'm talking about. The first thing we have to do is a process called learn. Okay. Now this should make basic sense. If you are in a predicament that you are not happy about, you're going to have to learn how to get out. If you're in a situation that you don't want to stay in, you're going to have to learn how to get to skedaddling. That's how it is. So the path to progress starts with a very simple thing that we can all do, which is learn. Now, people often ask me, Samuel, how'd you get time to read so much books? I create time to read books because I understand the importance of being able to learn. That's why. Learning is key for me because I understand the path to progress. Okay, now I want to share a few things because there is a myth out there that most people believe. Okay, all right. Can I debunk a myth to help you move further faster in your future? Here's the myth. The myth most people believe, we probably picked this up in school. I used to teach in school, so I'm probably guilty of previously helping people believe this myth, but it's a myth. So let me tell you the truth. The myth most people believe is once I learn, I will then earn. Okay? And that's why most people are getting poorer minute by minute because they think they've invested the time to learn, so automatically now they're supposed to earn. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I discovered the path to progress, one of the biggest light bulbs I had was the fact that earn did not come after learn. Okay? Because after you learn something, you don't get to earn nothing. Okay? Would anyone be interested in finding out what does come after learn? Okay? If you are, just write the word me in the chat. Because after you learn something, you don't get automatically, intrinsically next to earn something. After you learn something, you get an opportunity to do something. And this is where most people go wrong. Most people go out of their way to learn. Let's say you grab a book, okay? Most people go out of their way to learn. They grab a book, they'll take a look, they might even seek to reach their peak. But after you learn, you don't automatically earn, right? So let me tell you what does happen after you learn. After you learn, you get an opportunity to do something which is called being able to turn. Wait, what? Oh, Samuel, that makes so much sense. Because if I learn something new, it's most likely something I now need to do. Oh, someone's catching this. You see, the problem most people have is most people think learning is filling your brain up with information instead of realizing that the purpose of learning is in order for you to have creation. The reason you learn is to create something. You learn how to fix your finances so your finances can become fixed. So you are creating fixed finances. But you can't create fixed finances from just getting more head knowledge. You have to do something different. That's the turn. If you study the Bible, right, there's a word in the Bible called repentance. Now, unfortunately, I've found that many people think the word repentance means saying sorry, okay? God doesn't want you to say sorry if you do something wrong. If you study Hebrew, you'll find out that the word repentance doesn't mean say sorry. The word repentance means stop and turn a different way. You see, if you do something wrong and say sorry, there's no issue about whether you're going to do it wrong again. Of course you are. Why? Because you're in the same place. You're in the same space. You've changed nothing. You've just received grace. Which is why the word repent in the Bible does not mean say sorry. It doesn't mean apologize. It's got nothing to do with apologizing or saying sorry. It's deeper than that. Someone write in the chat, deeper. To repent is not to say sorry. To repent is to stop in your tracks and turn a new direction. This is why the path to progress isn't about learn without any turn. When you discover something new, here's the question: what are you now going to do? When you discover something new, you're given the freshest opportunity to change what you're able to do. Because you've discovered something you didn't know before. You've seen something you didn't see before. You've heard something you hadn't heard before. So now you can turn in a direction you hadn't turned before. If someone's getting help in this live, just write me in the chat. Let me know. Okay? I want you to understand how this works. So many of us learn, but never take a step to turn. And then we cry when we find that we have not earned. You cannot earn if you merely learn because there is no evidence that you decided to turn. The path to progress clearly outlines. It says in Proverbs 18 verse 1, a man having separated himself through desire, a man having separated himself seeketh and intermeddleth with all manner of wisdom. What does that mean? Through desire, when I really want change, when I desire something different, when I want to progress, I'm going to separate myself. And I'm going to intermeddle with all manner of wisdom. I'm going to learn so that I can turn. Someone's catching this. Now, once you learn and you turn, unfortunately, you still don't earn. Oh, I know some of you are thinking, no, Samuel, I need to get those fragrances off me. I don't want to be the should, the would, the could. I need to get that odd off me. Well, I'm here to tell you something. You can't get it off you just by learning and turning. Because yes, stage 1 on the path to progress is to learn. And yes, stage 2 on the path to progress is for you to turn. But there's more to it. Someone write in the chat, there's more. There's more to it. There's more to it. You see, firstly, you learn. That's the discovery process. I'm going to share something with you guys. You see, I used to smoke. When I was a young child, I got into this habit of smoking. I was 13 years old when I started smoking. And at the age of 19, I really wanted to give up. I really, really wanted to give up. Guys, I can't even express to you how much I wanted to give up at the age of 19. I would see myself being like 30 years old. I'd have like visions of myself being 30 years old. I see myself like, I don't know if you've ever done it. I don't know if I'm weird and wacky, right? But as kind of like a 16, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I'd see myself older. And I never saw myself smoking when I saw myself older. So I had this thing in me at the age of 19, like I need to get rid of this habit because I don't see myself doing this when I'm older. So I might as well get rid of it now. I had no idea how to get rid of the habit of smoking. So I kept saying to myself, like, I don't want to smoke. I need to get rid of this habit. I need to get rid of this habit. I need to get rid of this habit. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. I didn't know what to do to get rid of the habit. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. Every time I desire to smoke, I feel like smoking, I'm going to drink some water. That's what I said to myself. Every time I desire to smoke, I'm just going to drink some water. Now, I'm a very mathematical person. I think mathematically, right? So mathematically, does anyone know what that's called mathematically? That's called the law of substitution, right? I'm just saying every time I want this, I'm going to replace it with this. So what's happening here? Watch. I learned something, mathematics, the law of substitution. I didn't even learn it in association with smoking. I learned it in association with mathematics, right? Because I was interested in maths growing up. So I learned that you can substitute things. Now, some people watch football, right? In football, you can substitute players out. You could take one off the pitch, put one on the pitch in their place. So you don't have to learn substitution just from maths. But I learned that I could substitute things. And because I learned I could substitute things, when I wanted to give up smoking, I decided to turn from being someone who smokes to being someone who substitutes out the desire to smoke, the passion and interest to smoke, with drinking something called H2O, water. And obviously most of us know, I shared this in one of our previous sessions because water is one of the most fascinating things I love to speak about. We are made of 70% water, most of us, right? 70%, some a bit more, some a bit less, right? So I said, okay, I want to give up smoking. I don't know how I'm going to give up smoking. So here's what I'm going to do. Every time I feel the urge to smoke, instead I'm going to drink water. What's that? That's me going from learning to me going to turning. Okay? Now, here's the funniest thing. If it worked for a week, right now, I probably wouldn't be able to speak. Okay? But that was when I was 19 years old. We are 21 years down the line, nearly 22 in a week or two. Okay? We are nearly 22 years down the line from when I made that decision of mine. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because the reason why when people meet me today and I tell them I used to smoke, they're like, what, you? How could you? You don't come across like someone who ever smoked. I'm going to tell you why. Because the third part of the path to progress, if someone's ready, throw the number 3 in the chat. The third part of the path to progress, the most powerful part of the path to progress, it's not when you learn. The most powerful part of the path to progress is not when you turn. The most powerful part of the path to progress, ladies and gentlemen, my friend, is when you become stern. It's when you not just substitute the smoking for the water for 1 day, or for 2 days, or for 3 days, or for 4 days, or 5. But when you become so stern that the substitution becomes a part of your life. You see, this is why people struggle to earn when they've taken out so much time to learn. People have spent days, weeks, months, years, decades, in many cases, to learn how to change their circumstance, situation, or scenario. But how many people do you know that have taken the same days, weeks, months, years, decades to focus on being able to turn so they're no longer in that scenario? Or even more importantly, to being able to become stern so they'll never return to that scenario. The reason why many people are becoming poor minute by minute is because they could do something better, but they don't. It's because they should do something better, but they don't. It's because they say they would do something better, but they don't. And even in worst cases, maybe for some people who should, could, and would, they just won't. But if you're someone who's made a commitment and said, Samuel, you know what? I'm so grateful I tuned into this live today. I'm so grateful that you've blessed my life today. I'm so grateful that you've shown me the path to progress, because now I can use it to literally progress. Here's all it is. You have to begin by deciding to go on a journey to learn. And once you learn, once you pick up that new thing, please make a commitment to turn. Because if you make that commitment to turn, you now start to go down the highway where you can become stern. And it's the highway which you get on that allows you to be stern. Oh my gosh, someone's ready for this. Ladies and gentlemen, which allows you to finally earn. Now, let me say 2 things which I think are very important, because if you jump off the live right now, like, Samuel, I'm going to earn right now. I'm going to earn right now. I'm going to earn for the rest of my life right now. Because you told me how to turn and you've shown me I can become stern. And all I got to do is start by trying to learn. Listen, let me just caution you of a few things right now. The reason why life feels so hard for so many on this journey is because what they don't realize is that if this is 100% of what you're attempting to do, learn, turn, become stern and earn, what most people don't realize is the process is the majority of what you get to do. And if you don't get passionate about the process, you unfortunately won't be a participant in the progress. You see, if you don't say to yourself, I'm going to fall in love with the process, then unfortunately, you'll be just another statistic who never gets to the progress. I want to encourage you to understand that earning is the easiest part of the path to progress because of all of the energy that has been put in before you get there. If you're someone who's made a commitment to learn, and you're someone who's not going to just sit on your hands, but you're actually going to turn, and you're a person who's dedicated enough to keep going and represent yourself to the world as someone who's stern, then my friend, I'm here to tell you today that it's only a matter of time before you ultimately earn. And that, my friend, is why so many people are becoming poor day by day, hour by hour, and minute by minute. Not because it doesn't work, not because other people out here are a jerk, but it's actually because maybe you haven't implemented all of the 3 steps before the 4th step starts to work. If this has been of value to you, someone throw the word value in the chat as we wrap up this live. I don't know if we're going to take questions. Let's do it. Short bit of time. We're going to take questions, guys. If you have questions, throw your questions in the chat. If you have questions, throw your questions in the chat. I'm going to put a quick timer up. Let's do this one. I'm going to put a quick timer up for you guys to throw your questions in. Quick timer up for you to throw your questions in. Let's put 5 minutes on there. All right. So the timer is up, guys. Throw your questions inside of the chat. What questions do you have? And I will take your questions throughout this live. Let's go. Look at this. I don't know why the comments don't want to come through right now. But I saw you. I saw you. Jenny says value. Let's go. All right. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let me know. What questions do you have for your questions inside of the chat? And I will be glad to answer them with the time we have allotted, okay? What questions do you guys have? Throw them in for me. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Is that Paul? Paul said value. Nice to listen to you. All right, awesome. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, champion. Appreciate you. Paul, let me know in the chat. Is this your first time on one of the lives? Let me know if in the chat if this is your first time on one of the lives. Let's go. All right. All right, guys. Here to serve, guys. Here to serve. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, as I shared earlier, my name is Samuel Akinwin. I help people create consistent and then colossal cash flow using resources and revenues hidden in plain sight. And what's interesting is there's coaches out there, there's teachers out there that will tell you they help you become financially free in like 5 to 10 years. Me and my team, we help people do that in 3 to 12 months, and we've got receipts upon receipts upon receipts. So if that's something of interest to you, you know what to do. Just direct message me and we'll go from there. Let's go. All right. Jenny says, yes, Samuel, it is my first time. Jenny, welcome aboard. So glad that you got value from this live. So glad that you decided to join this live, and feel free to connect. You guys can direct message me on the black platform. You can direct message me on the blue platform, and you can direct message me on the purple and orange platform. The only platform you can't direct message me is on the red platform. But for those of you who want replays, if you got value in this session and you're like, Sammy, I got to watch this again, the replays are left on the red platform. Let's go. Just go to my channel at Samuel I Can Win on all platforms and search lives. And if you search lives, you'll see all of the lives there. Let's go. Jenny says value. Paul says value. Nice to listen to you. Okay, they're coming through now. Love that. All right. What questions you guys have? Oh, I love that. Okay, so you said on, but I didn't realize that was no. Not my first time. So Paul says, sorry, not my first time, just not often. All is well, Paul. All is well. You can come as often as you desire. It's up to you, whatever you require. Let's go. All right, guys. So the timer's still got 2 minutes. Guys, throw your questions in. All right, throw your questions in. Even if I can't answer them in the 2 minutes, just throw them in. The 2 minutes left is for you to throw your questions in. So whatever questions you have, throw them inside, and I'll answer your questions. And then after we answer the questions, we'll be wrapping up for this live. Okay, pray you guys have got tons of value on this one. And all it is, guys, is in order to distinguish, or should I say, in order to extinguish, because first you got to distinguish, but then in order to extinguish the three fragrances of failure, the should, the would, and the could, you just have to operate following the path to progress. Okay, simple path, simple path, simple path. Once I found that path, my life was one which I could start to love. Okay, the path to progress makes a massive difference. Okay, all right. Jenny says no questions. Love that. All right, guys. If there are no questions, throw your key takeaways in. What was the one thing that stood out to you in today's session? What was the big thing that stood out to you in today's session? What was the learning lesson in today's session? What did you hear that was like, yo, Samuel, that thing you just shared, that helped me. That turned me every which way but loose. What was your key takeaway from today's session? Throw them in the chat. Let's do that. Throw them in the chat. Let's do that. What was your key takeaway from today's session? What did you hear that literally caused you to feel like, wow, Samuel, that was super valuable for me? Okay. What resonated with you? What assisted you? What was of value to you? Let's go. Let's see what you guys are going to do. All right. So feel free to share your key takeaways inside of the chat. Feel free to share your key takeaways inside of the chat. Let's go. Okay. It is a blessing and an honor to serve people, guys. All right. It's a blessing and an honor to serve you guys. So for those of you saying thank you, you're most welcome. All right. Let's go. All right. Let's see if we get some key takeaways. I love this. I love this. Jenny says the shoulda, coulda, woulda. That got me. All right, Jenny, thank you ever so much. You got me cracking up here now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. Anyone else want to share your key takeaway before we wrap up for this live? I pray you guys have got tons of value. I pray this has helped you and assisted you. I pray you guys are going to be able, like many of my coaching clients, to utilize this to move further, faster in your future. Let me share a quick testimonial just to give you guys a bit more time in case you want to share any more key takeaways. Here's the thing that's super powerful. This Tuesday, I had a coaching session with one of my high-level coaching clients. He's literally just graduated 12 months of working with us in a coaching program. And in the 12 months, he has he's increased his revenue by close to double, but the way he's done that is by increasing his portfolio by 50%. So we helped him increase his portfolio by 50%. Now, what was interesting is I had this chat with him on Tuesday, his roundtable graduation session. And as we're having this chat, I basically asked him a simple question. I said, listen, how long did it take you to build your portfolio to where it was before we started? And he said 5 years. He said, I started in 2020. I said, so in the last 12 months, we have created 50% of what you took 5 years to create. And he said, yes. Okay. And we had a very interesting conversation. For those of you who follow me on the Blue platform, you might have seen the post that I shared. I think I shared it on Tuesday, but the post I shared on Tuesday was literally about that. And the post said, if it took you 5 years to generate $1 million and it took you 12 months to generate $500,000, what would your lessons be? What would you have learned from that experience? Okay. And that's, you guys are getting the backstory, but what inspired that post was literally my sit down session on Tuesday with one of my high level coaching clients, watching him achieve a certain level of success over the last 12 months and thinking to myself, wow, like there's so much that can be learned when we go on the path to progress and make sure that we're not just there to learn, but we take the next step to turn and the ultimate other step to become stern so that we can earn. With that being said, guys, Summit I Can Win. I'm signing out. I pray you got tons of value. And as I usually say, remember, small keys like these open up big doors. Good day, God bless. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.